Welcome back to Daytona. Rick Crawford just taking an unbelievable ride and coming to rest in the infield just in front of the grandstands. The caution comes out. The field slows down. Bill Lester still out in front of this pack. And Rick Crawford, the only truck being caught up in this. So it wasn't multiple trucks, but folks, we're seeing this truck moving and driving back out on the track. When you see the replay of this one, you won't believe it.
You can see the damage on the roof of that truck.
It turned over. I'm okay.
You heard Rick, he said it turned over, but I'm okay.
And you can hear the crowd screaming.
We're supposed to throw 4 front tires on it, guys. We're going to get that hood back on it.
Take a look here what happens. He's right now, he's racing in the 4th position. He looks to the inside of Todd Bodine. Todd comes down the hill, forces him to the inside. The air gets underneath the truck, turns it over 1 revolution, and then back on 4 wheels. What a ride.
What a ride. He needs to make sure he doesn't go too fast right now. He's got a flat right front tire. Check out this look. Todd just ping-ponging back and forth, Bill.
Yeah, he bounces off of that Terry Cook truck into Rick Crawford. You can see the tire mark on the right side. You see the wheel still spinning on Rick Crawford's truck while it's up in the air.
He hits the brakes there.
He was finally smart enough to let off. That's pretty. That's using your head. He's flipping over at Daytona and he let off the gas. I'm proud of him for that. He's going to have a flat right front tire. If he can nurse that thing back to the pits, he might be able to keep racing.
Let's take a ride with Terry Cook. Terry Cook was on the outside. He's the truck that Todd Bodine got into. You see, there's the contact, and Todd bounces off him into Rick Crawford.
Just 3 wide racing off the turn at Daytona. And these trucks are really unstable this year, Phil. They're a little bit loose, and so any turbulence at all could have kicked Todd Bodine's truck sideways, and he had to go somewhere. He went out, hit Cook, then came off and hit Crawford.
Drama continuing. Mike Harmon in the 21 getting spun around in turn 4, coming off of 4, actually hits the wall on the inside of the track.
Going to be a tremendous break for Ron Hornaday and some of these other trucks that pitted back on lap number 12 on that caution flag. They've stayed on the racetrack, but it's going to be a horrible break for some of the good trucks because now they find themselves a lap down.
Ron Hornaday has to have a good truck, Phil. Here he is on tires that are just about gone. He's got to pit in 4 or 5 laps, but yet he's able to hang right with the leaders. Drove that truck around on the older tires and kept it right up front. So that's a sign to me his truck's working.
And Michael, we saw how good the tires were for Robert Presley. He caught the leaders from 6 seconds back in a matter of about 6 laps.
Take a look at Mike Harmon's problems.
Looks like he got a little bit loose and jumped up in front of Deborah Renshaw. There was probably some contact there. It sent him around. He made some contact with the inside wall, but it didn't look like a great deal.
Wow, 3 wide off the turn. Historically, that's been trouble.
You know, we've run almost 50 laps now, and things haven't calmed down one bit.
No, nor did we expect them to, Phil.
Now Regan Smith and Ricky Craven taking the center line, which has been very difficult to hold around this tri-oval.
You gotta like what Terry Cook's been able to do right now. He's got that truck at the front, and he's been able to keep it there for a while.
He's so good at this racetrack too, Michael. You know, we mentioned earlier, he's never been out of the top 10 in all 5 starts here at Daytona.
Okay, until you've been out there and experienced what it's like to hit a wall going this fast, maybe you can't respect how scared I am.
There's Terry's record right there. Look at that. A 5th, a 9th, a 6th, a 6th, a 4th. And he's the only driver.
Oh, there we go.
Here's a problem. Kerry Earnhardt gets spun sideways. Problems stacking up behind him. Cars racing down pit road again. Chase Montgomery involved in this one. Regan Smith. Shiggy Hattori.
Todd Cleaver.
Problems again for Todd Cleaver. Brandon Witt makes it into the infield.
And here comes the trucks by that laid back. You see Jack Sprague, Steve Park, Casey Atwood. They all laid back. Bobby Hamilton.
Bobby Hamilton's just now getting to the crash scene, Phil. He's up in first gear, idling through.
Yeah, and a lot of the trucks that laid back with him went down pit road. Pretty good call to lay back here, wasn't it, Michael?
I don't see where it was the wrong thing to do. Knowing the history of this event, knowing what was going on in the front, Shiggy must have got his throttle stuck a little bit.
Pole sitter Kerry Earnhardt making his way across the infield.
It started with Kerry, but he might have got hit. I mean, no telling what happened to turn Kerry. He was the first truck I saw out of control, but they were just they were asking for it.
Each and every lap, we saw them come off turn 4, 3 wide, bouncing around, dancing. You see Chase Montgomery with a considerable amount of damage to the Federated Auto Parts Dodge. There's Ron Hornaday, had such a great run, a good strategy. Look at all the damage to that Goodwrench Chevrolet.
And more damage will continue to take place as the rubber is torn away from the tires.
This is another truck that was hauling the mail.
Regan Smith, such a great run. His 4th start ever in the Truck Series. Led this race. See if we can take a look at what caused this, Michael. Here they are coming through turn number 4. See, Kerry's right on the bottom of the racetrack. He looks like he gets a little bit sideways right beside David Rudem. It didn't look like there was any contact. It looked like he just got loose on the inside. When you're on the inside of another truck, it robs that truck of air off the spoiler. It looks like he just got loose. Take another look.
They're side by side, and it's just almost impossible when you're driving that close together and you're trying to do it 3 wide to keep the thing going straight.
See Tracy, Matt Kraft on the 88 gets run into from behind, gets turned around. And watch these, there's Dennis Setzer, Chad Chaffin. They go down pit road at 180 miles an hour, just like Carl Edwards did last year, and he came back and won the race.
Are you okay?
Take a look at it at regular speed.
Doesn't look like anybody was hurt, Phil. That's the best part of it. They're all able to walk away or drive away.
Let's take a ride with Kerry Earnhardt. This is not going to be much fun. See Brandon Witt's truck on the hook. Here's Kerry on the inside. You heard him playing with the throttle even before he got sideways, so he obviously knew his truck was a little bit loose, and then when he kind of sucked up into the side of David Rudem, it just pulled him around.
Let's see what Setzer sees. Look at this move.
Watch him go down pit road here.
Wow.
See all the trucks crashing in the background over on the racetrack, and Dennis is just idling down pit road about 140 miles an hour.
Whoa. Shiggy Hattori, that was at the end of that one. Regan Smith in the 19 just in front of him.
He may not have had any brakes. As much damage as Shiggy had to that truck.
Flames coming out from underneath the Goodwrench Chevrolet of Ron Hornaday.
That's those shredded up, torn up tires. Rubber getting against, maybe knocking a hole in the oil cooler and causing a fire under the hood. Pretty good fire, Phil.
Yeah, sure is. It looks like right in the spindle area, so that's probably, you mentioned rubber maybe getting on the headers or something like that.
Side by side as they go across the start-finish line.
Brennan Gaughan trying to get a lap back.
Remember, that's not for the lead. Brennan is just trying to get back on the lead lap, on the tail end of the lead lap. But he would love to do that in the event that the caution flag was to come out. He would be able to drive all the way back around the racetrack without even getting the free pass.
Brennan Gaughan has help from David Rudem and just behind him. They go down the back stretch. 2 lines forming so far.
Rudeman's pushing toward the front for the first time tonight. We haven't seen that truck get the lead yet.
Whoa, with a lot of steering going on board. Brennan Gaughan was really snatching on that steering wheel.
Still bouncing around.
Whoa, Brennan Gaughan.
There he goes, into the wall.
Brennan Gaughan up into the wall, and problems with Mike Skinner as well.
David Rudem is the first truck to get through there.
Most everybody else made it. Did Brennan have a flat, you think?
I'm not sure. I saw him doing a lot of steering with that truck.
It's a possibility that he got together with another truck and maybe had a flat. Bobby Hamilton says, okay, check that mark off.
Yeah.
Another good decision.
Another great move. He was a champion last year, Michael. He made a lot of good decisions.
And remember also, Phil, he
Good
didn't
move,
practice.
buddy. Even though you did sliders, good move. Let's get her down there and get some tires on her. Pit road's closed. Pit road's closed.
He didn't practice any, Phil. He's got extra tires, just like he had at Darlington last year. We'll have to see if that comes into play.
Yes, the trucks were given 5 full sets of tires for this entire race week. Bobby, he only ran 2 laps of practice and 2 laps qualifying, so you know he has the full complement of 5 sets of tires.
Tough night for Mike Skinner. He brings his Toyota Tundra onto pit road, as does Brennan Gaughan.
A lot of damage on Brendan's truck right there. It looks like the right rear tire is up. He might have had a flat left rear tire or something like that. But Looked like he was really loose coming up too. The lap before he crashed looked like he got real loose.
Let's take a look at what just took place to bring out our fourth caution of the night.
See, Brennan, he's very, very close to the 5. That's when I looked down. I saw him doing a lot of steering. Just like, looks like he got a little bit loose there, Michael.
Yeah, I think he just lost the truck. He might have had a flat though, Phil. You never know. Boy, Rudiman slipped through there, and Mike Skinner like the darn foot at the most, and he would have been clear.
Look how close they get together side by side. Now Mike Skinner pulls up a little bit, and watch Brennan now. He's going to start getting a little bit loose. Almost they make a little bit of contact, and then he loses the back end, and then runs up and just clips Mike Skinner.
Looks a whole lot like the Kerry Earnhardt crash, doesn't it, Phil?
Sure
they
does.
Get side by side, and Brendan just can't keep control of his truck.
Coming out of turn 4 onto the tri-oval. Wendy. 19 trucks on the lead lap. Todd Bodine leads them to the green flag. We're back underway with a Florida Dodge Dealers 250.
This is going to be tense, fellas. A lot of guys are going to make their way to the front before this deal is over.
This is as strung out as they've been this entire race. Look at, see 3 trucks, 4 trucks. Now they're getting back together.
They're going to be all wadded up by the time they get back over here. Look at them. Here comes Spencer to the outside. Here comes Craven to the outside. Bobby Hamilton up into the lead pack. Spencer going for second.
Side by side, battling for the second position. Chad Chaffin on the inside. Jimmy Spencer on the outside. Todd Bodine leads him out of turn 4 into the front stretch.
Ken says, who do I stay in front of?
This is going to be hectic over the next 6 laps. Can they keep it together? Can they keep all these trucks pointed in the right direction, Phil?
Remember, we will have a green-white checker if the caution was to come out late in this race. We will try to finish this race under green.
Bobby Hamilton has impressed us all with his strategy, stuck to his game plan, and now here he is getting ready to battle for the win at Daytona.
Got a side-by-side battle for the lead. Whoa!
Problems early on. Chad Chaffin gets spun around and upside down. Chaffin back onto his wheels, and we were on board with Dennis Setzer.
Dennis made some contact. Looks like he was trying to bump draft him, and he got Chad turned around. There's Terry Cook after such a great effort. He was involved in that action a little bit. Another wild ride for Chad Chaffin, though, much like Rick Crawford's earlier today.
How far did he turn over?
When he went out of view, he was way up in the air.
And it was pointed towards the ground.
See, he's got a left front tire rub right there.
It looks like the left on TV. Get the guidance on the left sides first, guys. Just left and get the clearance on the left front tire.
Let's
Okay, let's see what happened. Looks like bump drafting might be. Yeah, Dennis gave him a little shot. Wow.
Wow, completely over. Here goes Terry. Boy, Terry had a wild ride through the grass. He was fortunate that his truck stayed down. You see the roof flap just deploy.
Let's take another look at that one.
Bam, Dennis right there. Give him a little shot in the back and turn Chad's truck around and over, by the way.
Wow, what a view that was.
And hit on the left front wheel, so I'm sure some suspension damage to that. Ray?
Well, guys, they believe that the 30 truck can stay on the lead lap here. They've got the right side tires on, going to the left side here, checking the thing over to make sure everything's okay. They're listening to the spotter. He's got his eye on where the field is coming around, and they think they're going to be able to stay on the lead lap.
They're going to check underneath on the left side. The official was pointing to the left front tire or wheel, making sure that the suspension was okay.
Yeah, I would say, man, that they have to have something torn apart underneath there where they feel.
Somebody pour some oil in the tank. Get a couple quarts of oil in it. We might only lose 1 lap here.
Let's see if we can take another look at this crash. You see he's got a busted oil line. They're talking about bypassing oil. Here they are coming off turn number 2. See, Dennis is going to get in the back of Chad. You see Chad, it pushes him a little bit sideways. Then Dennis actually turns him around after Chad comes back to the bottom of the racetrack, and way up in the air he goes.
Here comes Terry Cook. joining them for a slide through the grass.
Looks like Robert Huffman might have gotten the back of Terry Cook. I see some damage to the front of that truck.
Oh, and it was a pileup behind him.
Yeah, once that bump drafting started going crazy, then they just bunched up from behind. Rudeman had nowhere to go, bumped into the 46. Just a good idea gone bad when the bump drafting that they were doing on the back straightaway knocked the 30 truck sideways.
We ride along with Dennis
Here he is.
Spencer.
Bam, just hit him and got it wiggling. Now, I bet you Dennis has hit somebody like that all night long, and the truck never moved. You know, you don't know which way Chad had his wheels pointed, and Dennis must have hit him right at the wrong time. Dennis would never do something like that unless he had it calculated out, and for some reason, it went wrong.
It looked like he hit him pretty square, but you know, these trucks are pretty light in the rear end right now. A lot of these trucks are complaining about being loose, but just slow motion here. You see, he looks like he hits him pretty square, but it looks like his bumper rides up underneath the back bumper of Chad Chaffin, and that may be why it turned him around. It might have picked the rear wheels off the ground, Michael. And then all four wheels were off the ground.
And
yeah, it definitely eventually picked him off, didn't it?
He hit that left front very hard, so they're still checking on the suspension of that one. Ray?
Here we go.
Green flag flying.
Green, white checker.
2 laps, 5 miles remaining in the Florida Dodge Dealers 250.
What? Look at Bobby Hamilton. Look to the inside of Ricky Craven.
Hamilton with a good run gets by Ricky Craven. They're lined up. Jimmy Spencer, Todd Bodine, Bobby Hamilton.
Look at Bobby move to the inside of Todd Bodine. They're lining up behind him. Matt Crafton, what a great run he has going in the 88 truck.
Jimmy Spencer getting out there a little bit far. They're going to be able to get a run on him.
Oh, it's not over. Bobby Hamilton unable to clear Todd Bodine until just now.
Looks like he's got him cleared now. Look
Here
at
comes Ricky Craven back on the outside.
Way on the outside.
Almost into the wall. They're dicing and dancing again as they cross the start finish. And Bobby Hamilton makes the pass. And problems right as they go across the start finish line. Another big crash as they go across the start finish line, and the white flag had come out as they cross the start finish line. That will mean, I believe, Bobby Hamilton will win the Florida Dodge Dealers 250.
I think you're exactly right. The field is automatically frozen when the caution flag comes out, and it looked like Bobby Hamilton had taken the lead.
We'll find out if it's Jimmy Spencer or Bobby Hamilton.
Wow, Bobby Hamilton was aggressive on that last lap, wasn't he?
Well, he sure was. He drove to the outside.
Ultra Motorsports celebrating.
I don't think we know the answer to this question yet, Rick.
Take another look at what took place as they went across the start-finish line. It was Jimmy Spencer in front of Bobby Hamilton by just about a half of a tenth of a second.
Yeah, that's not official. Now, they may have been celebrating, but we don't know who's going to be credited with this win.
What happened to Matt Crafton?
Matt Crafton gets on the inside.
Got loose and just turns right back up into this pack.
It's going to hit David Rudeman in the 17 truck. There's Jack Sprague. He gets hit into the outside wall.
And you see Bobby Hamilton and Jimmy Spencer were just side by side when that was all taking place.
Whatever NASCAR calls it won't be a mistake. That was they were
within 3 or 4 feet anyway, so it can go either way.
What happened?
Take another look. Looks like Matt just got a little bit loose. I don't think there was any contact from David Rudeman. Boy, they made some hard contact in the outside wall. Thank goodness for the safer barriers, Michael.
Well, when they had the crash, when the crash started, Spencer was ahead. But when does NASCAR, when they flip the light on, when they throw the flag, when does it happen? How do we know who won the race right now?
That is a uniform process that takes place. It is all done up in the press box. NASCAR has a button, and when the caution needs to come out, that button is pushed. And right when that button is pushed, the computer freezes the field according to the last loop that the trucks went across.
Well, I'm going to guess Spencer won then. He had a bit of an advantage on him when the wreck was happening. So if they got the button pushed while the wreck was happening, which I know they did, I think maybe Spencer won.
And the most recent loop would have more than likely been the start-finish line, and Jimmy Spencer was ahead at the start-finish line.
As you mentioned, Phil, there are 18 loops around this 2.5-mile tri-oval. And so, depending upon how they're spaced out around this track, it's the last loop that they crossed. More than likely, it would be the start-finish line. Take one more look at this. Jimmy Spencer wanting to celebrate, celebrating.
He is celebrating. They think they've won the race, and I would think that too. We'll see what happens. Bobby makes a great move to get up beside Jimmy. Matt,
I think Jimmy's definitely going to lead Jimmy's ahead at the start-finish line. Now the crash starts. We're looking at the flag stand. We don't see a yellow flag yet, but it's when the button is pushed to turn the yellow lights on and to notify the flag man that he's supposed to put out the caution flag. A lot of damage to a lot of trucks. See the white flag being displayed.
well, he's going to display it for a while. It would take him, his reaction to change flags would take way longer than it would to push a button to turn on the lights.
If it was strictly on when the flagman got the yellow flag out, then Bobby Hamilton would be the winner of the race. But it's not that anymore. In the control tower, NASCAR pushes a button that displays the caution lights around the racetrack and locks the scoring loops down. And that's how they determine who is ahead of who at the most recent scoring loop.